Good night. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Great to hear from you. What's on your mind?
First, I want to say hi to my fellow diasporan. This is Daniel, or Miss Daniel.
Yes.
Good night, and good night to the others as well.
Yes.
Last time I was on, I spoke about the importance of having leader of the opposition is a constitutional governance office that every parliament requires. So to have a parliament constituted without a leader of the opposition was kind of problematic. Tonight, I just want to deal with the whole idea of a republic, that what was done in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
that of changing the title of Governor General to President,
Mm-hmm.
made us a republic, is not necessarily correct. So I'm just going to step through a couple of questions and answer them real quick to give you
Mm-hmm.
how I came to the idea that Barbados was a republic since 1966. So what is adult suffrage? Adult suffrage is when adult citizens can vote in an election. So when did Barbados become or have or got adult suffrage? I think it was back in 1951. There was an election around that time where everybody was able to vote, based on the fact that they were of a certain age and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who were they voting for after they got adult suffrage? They were voting for representatives.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is voting for a representative called? It's called representative democracy. So, what is representative democracy? Representative democracy is a system of government where citizens elect representatives to
Mm-hmm.
make decisions on their behalf,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we get to the question of what is a republic? A republic, in a very simple term, republic is a form of government where citizens elect representatives to make decisions and to run the country, and where the government is based on a constitution, which is the highest law of the land, right? So in all of that, I didn't mention the fact that Barbados styled, in 1966, Barbados styled itself as a constitutional monarchy. Now, the question is, what is a constitutional monarchy? And we juxtapose that to what is a real monarchy, or is there such a thing as a real monarchy? And if there is a real monarchy, then what is a constitutional monarchy, right? And a real monarchy, again, in simple terms, is where the monarch is the sovereign,
Mm-hmm.
right? The monarch has not only succession rights, where his eldest son or whatever becomes king when they pass on, or queen when they pass on. They have all decisions are made by them, and they have what's called the royal prerogative. Now that doesn't exist in England. It never existed in England with Queen Elizabeth, under who we were styled as a constitutional monarchy, right? And if you dwell on the word the term constitutional monarchy, right? Constitutional. And then if you go back to the question which I answered as to what is a republic,
Mm-hmm.
a government based on a constitution. So if you have something called a constitutional monarchy, it is not a real monarch. It is not a monarch that has absolute power.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really a ceremonial figurehead type of thing.
Okay.
So that in 1966, when we were considered a constitutional monarchy and everybody paid all of this outside attention to the word monarch,
Mm-hmm.
we were voting for representatives. And when you're voting for representatives, right, you are in a representative democracy. So I posit that Barbados was already a republic in 1966.
Mm.
And if all it took in 2021 is to change the name of a governor general to president for us to become a republic, then you have to ask yourself, what really is a republic, right? So yeah, I think people
Interesting.
really need to understand. Yeah, that this whole thing that was done by the current prime minister, right? It was really a ceremony of nothing. We were already a republic,
Mm.
and I will end with that. I don't want to stretch on because I
Interesting.
know
I'm gonna hear Miss McLean have ask her, her thoughts on that. But and Mr. Barrow, who said he didn't think that it was necessary. But let me ask you, as I have you on the call, caller, what do you say
Mhm.
to Barbadians about what you're hearing? You're not in Barbados. You're hearing of this these redevelopment that is happening, and you're hearing about the they're buying well, they're really swooping up people's land in order to
Yeah.
give it to the developers. They're moving people. You know, there's you see like it seemed like a gentrification of Bridgetown. What are your thoughts about that as a Barbadian living in the diaspora?
Well, it saddens me. It really does, but it does not surprise me because, again, everything I keep asking myself if I'm honing on honing in on the idea of it's the system, it's the way we govern ourselves that is the problem. If I'm doing that, I'm missing a bigger picture. But it all comes back to that. What the government is doing is morally wrong. What the government is in terms of selling all this land and not doing it in a transparent way,
Mm-hmm.
selling the land that has significant interest and value to the people themselves, not listening to the people. That's not what you do in a democracy. But at the same time, the system allows for a prime minister to do these things and get away with it. They're not doing anything illegal, right? Because of the outsized power of that office. And that's why we need to attend to
Mm-hmm.
understanding how we are currently governed so that we can agitate members of the political class and those aspiring to go to parliament that in order to get our votes, you need to come up with a detailed plan of how you're going to change the system of government.
I
And that's
agree with
the
that.
only way, right? That's the only way you're going to get our votes because, I'll keep saying this, and this is no swipe at the Democratic Labour Party, but or any other political party. But when you get into power, you're going to be constrained by the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the representatives, they know all routes leads to the prime minister's office.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a person of moral character in that office, what you're getting now is what you will get.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be left to the morals of the individual office holder, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are things that can be addressed systematically, right, within the system. Like the whole idea of, one party winning 30 seats and therefore not having a leader of the opposition. Well, in Singapore, that we like to look to, the party, the governing party has been in office since 1959. And they understand that that does not conform with Westminster. So what they've done within the Constitution is to ensure that there is always a leader of the opposition. That is the law, even in
Mm.
spite of the election, in spite of the election's result. They made a systematic change to assure that a problem that can occur does not occur,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
But we keep looking to the individuals to do right by us, right? And not requiring the individuals to make laws to do right by us, irrespective of
Who it
is
is?
in
Who
office.
is involved?
Yeah,
Well,
because
caller,
we
yeah, go ahead.
mhm.
Make the last point,
But
and then
the last thing, right? We can look across all of the prime ministers we've had, and we can see difference in governance, right?
Mhm, yes,
Difference in governance, and that's what I'm saying. We need to tighten down that office. And I'll finish by saying, Ezra Allen in a Nation News article in 2010, I think it was,
mm,
made this statement. I still have that article. He said that the prime ministers of Barbados has most of the ancient powers of most of the powers of ancient monarch, UK monarch. And he was talking about the times when UK monarchs were absolute monarchs, where they had the royal prerogative. So we've taken the power of monarchy and situated into the office of the prime minister for a prime minister to exercise or not exercise as they please. And
mm,
currently, this one that we have is using all the powers of the office that she's allowed to do.
yeah.
Right?
You know, somebody here is saying,
Finish.
somebody here is saying they would listen to you longer. I think you need to come on the show one night. The people are asking because there's a lot of education, and I think there needs to be some agitation, where we speak to the political parties and begin to present to them what it is that what we want. We need to talk off air, sir, because I think this is
Yeah.
important for Barbados. What do you
Well, let me
think?
just address that real quick. I'm thinking about it. I'm still struggling with the idea that someone in the diaspora should be the one doing this. I
Well,
always
you're a
believe
Barbadian,
that
sir.
people.
You're a
I
Barbadian.
know I'm a Barbadian. But I believe that the idea is not about me. The idea is to get those 60% of Barbadians who are registered, who are eligible voters who are not part of the process back into the process to change this around,
Yes.
right? And I think they would listen more to someone who's
No,
on
Not
the roll.
true.
no,
Not
no,
true.
Miss
Not true
McLean
at
is
all.
saying not true. And some of the people are saying you need to come on as a guest. It's the second night, and you're sending us in research. And I think we're at the point now. I would agree, Michelle. I see Michelle squirming in her, moving in her seat, and she is just going. I need to connect you with Michelle, connect you with Gina, connect you with those in the diaspora. Let us put together something, sir, that and present a show on this. And also, as a loyal opposition, let us then lobby all the different parties and say, here is, we want this in your manifesto. You see what I mean? So unfortunately, we're but it's somebody that said we need to educate the people. We need to. They don't want it to stop, but time is gone. And you call late, and you won't come in as a guest.
Marcia, might I suggest that you do
Okay, Mr.
exactly
McLean,
that, and the caller, I mean the viewer is reminding him that you are Barbadian of Jamaican birth, because they say you're Jamaican, you're both. So the point is, in fact, because you are Barbadian outside of Barbados, they probably would see you as probably being more objective and
Yes.
distant from the partisan elements of politics, because we like to talk about politics when we mean partisan politics. But I wanted to say that what he has raised is very significant, and within the context of two things that happened. We had a Constitution Reform Commission which should have spoken to some of these things, and there was a Parliamentary Reform Commission. That information, I sat on that information that report has not yet been discussed, but in terms of changes, it might provide a context, because I don't think that a short off the cuff response would do justice to the contribution that he just made.
Yes, we need
And,
to.
and I think that's a serious issue that needs to be taken into consideration, because in listening to him, the 60% that he referred to may very well have an opportunity to reflect on their positions in a way that if I spoke to them, because right away they're going to say, but you belong to party X.
Right. So I think we need to do it. The loyal opposition, we need to do it. The diaspora involved, we all get involved. Because if you're saying you shouldn't get involved, I shouldn't get involved in caller. So don't try it. Okay, I'm going to call you and you're coming on this show. I tell you now.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's important, sir.
All right. It's very important. I'm not trying to say this to make you feel great. I keep thinking it's where we're at right now. We need what you're saying right now. We need it.
Yeah.
We need it. Okay.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't make me feel great. It's never about me. That's one of the reasons why I tend not to want to be in the public, because I don't want to be seen as something that I don't see myself as. I'm just a person that I really strongly believe that if people dig, they'll find the same information that I found. Right? This is nothing unique that I'm doing or nothing unique about me. And that's the reason why I come to it at this point, because nobody else is doing it.
Right.
So I guess I have to.
Yeah. Okay, but
Marcia,
thank you, caller.
let me just say one thing.